Greetings viewers, this is Morstorm. I've come at you with another video. Today we are going to assemble the Iron Spider by Morstorm. And of course we are going to share my thoughts about this kit, the good, the bad, and everything else in between, along with my final verdict if this is a kit worth getting. So please stay tuned while all those questions get answered. So without further ado, let's start assembling this kit. And here we have the 1/9 scale Iron Spider by Morstorm fully assembled. And by first reaction, I gotta admit, it's pretty nice, pretty sleek. It's not too bad. I was suspecting maybe, I think it should have been maybe proportioned just a little bit better, but I wouldn't say it's entirely terrible. I would not say that. It did look a little bit, I guess, flaky. I don't know if that's the proper term to use, but like I said, it just seems pretty slim. But then again, Spider-Man is known to be a slim, character, a slim superhero. I don't recall if he was like as muscular as other heroes such as Thor, Captain America, or any of the Avengers for that matter. But nonetheless, I would say this actually does look pretty good, especially with everything fully assembled. The colors do make it pop out a little bit more. That metallic red, I really do enjoy that. Definitely one of my favorite parts about this kit is just the color scheme. The yellow gold, perhaps maybe if I would have painted that, maybe a brighter, more metallic yellow gold, maybe it would make it pop out a little bit more. But it still work well regardless either way. That very dark navy blue, blackish color, it actually works well with everything put together. Even those little designs, for those who have great pieces on the leg, a little bit on the arms. So the waist, it works well. It definitely works well. But aside from that, though, it does, like I said, I think a slight disproportionate, just a very slight one. I think the arms can be just a tad bigger, but other than that, everything else looks pretty sleek. Now that I have this figure assembled, let me see how the articulation works with this. So, to get a better close-up, let's see how the head moves. So it does go up and down, go all around. And of course, it would be the same with the other head attached. For the body, just moves just a little swivel side by side. That's about it. This little in the abdominal area. So I think it does. Oh, did not mean to detach that. There we go. Oh man, and this figure just coming off very easily. But the point I want to make is it does have that slight abdominal movement, but there's a better way to see that in the parts video. The arms, so they do go all the way. The shoulder pad do move around, so you can get better articulation. So you can extend the arm out. The arms can go all the way 360. A nice elbow joint. And of course, now the arm is attached, you can see this piece of the chest does move in a little bit. And the hands can go all the way. Can move to side as well. There is no waist articulation, which is a bummer. I was hoping there'd be something there. As for the legs, a nice high kick, a somewhat back kick. I guess you could move the leg all around. You can adjust the legs like so. You can move the leg itself, little swivel, I would say 90 degrees on both ends. A nice knee joint. Of course, the foot can go all the way, a little up and down, side to side, and that toe which is still okay. The ankle just came off. There you go. There we go. That toe joint is still pretty stiff. But that's about it for the articulation. And of course, when you attach the figure to the action base, some nice aerial poses. That's a thing too. I would say the articulation is enough for just to get some nice certain poses. I would say some might be harder than others, but I would say it's not too bad. Not too bad. Nice little action pose, especially that Spider-Man is web swinging, so whenever he is in midair, a nice little tribute to his I guess you could say attack pose, or just getting ready to shoot his web in certain directions. But definitely, I would say it does work well, and it does what is needed to do. I would say that, definitely some poses are harder than others. I even try to put this figure in the crouch pose. So, when Spider-Man is just on top of a building, just, I won't say like sitting up, but he's just on his toes and just crouch on the building edge and just looking down in New York City. I did have an issue with trying to pose that on top of my little turntable there, so that didn't really work out. So, like I said before, it can work for some poses, but may be difficult for other ones. And now for some side-by-side comparisons. Here's the uninspired right beside the real grade Strike Freedom Gundam. Definitely a big difference. It looks like the uninspired is twice the size of the Strike Freedom here. And here you see with standard amplified Imperial. And it looks like because of the wingspan, definitely Imperial is wider, but height-wise, I gotta give it to the uninspired on this one. And here is with the Master Grade Sendenju Stein version KA. So I would say these Sendenju Stein definitely has a slight height advantage in this case. Oop, that came out. And lastly, here's the uninspired right beside Iron Mark 46. And it looks like Iron Man beats the uninspired on this one. Definitely a big difference here. It's about it for side-by-side comparisons. To really test one feature about this kit is definitely the lights. Now, as you can see here, the lights do work just pretty good, especially for the eyes. So I would say just like how it worked for the Iron Man Mark 46. But the thing is, it does, you can't see it in regular light, but the real test is it can be seen in the dark. And as you can see here, the white eyes or white lenses of the Iron Spider, it does work pretty well. You can see it not too bad in the dark. So I'll say not too bad, not too bad. So you can see here, I decided to switch the eyes out for the kill in one shot mode. So I'll say it does line up pretty well in regular light. But as for in the dark, I would say not too bad, but even though from what I can see here, it doesn't really look well in the camera. But in the camera, it shows that both with the clear red translucent lenses and the white ones, the lights just seem the same. Whereas like in person, naturally you can see a big difference. But yeah, through camera, I don't know if there is much of a difference. I know it's not much of a difference on my point of view while we're recording this part. But yeah, but still, regardless, I say the lights do work pretty well in the dark. Now, for those who have not seen my parts video, I suggest you do because I do go into a very deep detailed description of each individual part for this kit. But there's one part of it that I'm going to show again here, is that in order to attach the talons of the Iron Spider, there is this piece here. Unfortunately, if you have long enough nails or if you have a X-Acto knife, there's a little slip here. So what you could do is you just push it in there and just enough leverage. You pop it right off like so. And you just align the two holes with the two pegs here. The one thing I do add and I do like about the talons for the Iron Spider, it does remind me of when I believe in the comics, and please if I am wrong, do comment in the down below. But I believe in the comics that Doc Ock actually switched his consciousness with himself and Peter Parker. So Dr. Octopus or Dr. Otto Octavius was actually in Peter Parker's body, and then that's how he knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. At least one of the ways how he found out. And because of that, he actually decided to give himself his own, metal arms, metal tentacles, if you will, and therefore Spider-Man had Doc Ock tentacles. Yeah, tentacles. Yeah, there we go. But yes, it is a little bit interesting on. And this is, I would say, the closest we could get in a model kit form as of right now of Doc Ock as Spider-Man. But with that being said, I'd like to give this time right now to share my final thoughts, the good, the bad, and everything else in between, and the final verdict if this is a kit worth getting. So let's start off with the good. The good is the color scheme. I really do like that metallic red. Definitely make this kit pop out a lot better than the Iron Man red that I built recently, the Mark 46. I don't know, of course, for me, anything that's metallic has a nice shine to it, has a nice gloss, so it definitely does stick out. Second good thing is the detail. I cannot deny the fact that this entire kit has all those like red features, just like on the Spider-Man costume. So it does work well, and not just that, but even the spider symbol in the front and in the back does work well. Especially a little bit intricate on how the spider symbol is properly made and created and shown. In this case, it's just like those pieces I mentioned in the parts video on the side of the chest that makes it look like it. This kid is wearing a vest, but that's just used for different forms of articulation and just shows a different way how to see the Spider-Man symbol. Another thing too is you can get some good poses with this kit. As I shown before, it does have the effect part, so not too many effect parts, just the three that I mentioned in the parts video. But I don't say it does its justice. I mean, definitely can put two of those effect parts in both wrists, so it does work out. And I would say this is a good part, but also a bad part is that this doesn't have too many features. Like I said, just have the different hands you can use, two different heads. Whether you want it to light up or you want to switch out the eyes, have that squinting feature. Again, in the parts video, I show that. But that's about it for features. Aside from that, the talents, and not too much, but at the same time, that is kind of nice. So it's a good thing and bad thing. Simple in one way, but I wish there was a little bit more in another way. And that's for the good. How about the bad? And there's actually a good number of bad parts. For starters, some pieces actually did fall off. I know this is a kit, and that's just one thing to be accustomed with, that pieces just fall off. But some kits pieces are able to be handled a little bit better than others. And I would say this one, as of right now, is in the middle. It's not the best, but it's definitely not the worst I've experienced. Another bad thing is those talents. Yes, articulation was pretty nice, but they were just a pain to put together. I almost got a blister just because I was pressuring certain parts of it to snap into place, and it just took a toll. I was actually had to force it on my desk and had to get another piece just to make sure it can be attached properly. It just was a pain. So definitely that wasn't so good on that part. Another issue are the legs. Now, as I mentioned in the parts video, the legs actually have some metal pieces that came with the kit, which you will see in the unboxing video as well. But so there are four metal pieces, two in each leg, the upper leg and the lower leg. And I think just because this may have been a bad idea for some kits, it worked, but not for this one. But the legs are kind of loose. I even tried to position this several times, and the legs almost gave out. And right now is good, but it took an extra couple minutes just so I can let it stand properly. So I would say that wasn't a very good decision. I think it would be a lot better if the legs was 100% plastic and not worry about a metal leg and skeletal system. Definitely not worth it. Another bad is some parts of the arms, definitely the upper arms. As you can see here, and I'm gonna use this with the effect part. You see this gold on each of the upper arms. That's actually one solid piece attached to one red piece. I would say the inner arm is attached to that gold piece. Just those two pieces, but I had a hassle of making sure they snapped properly, because when I was attaching them to the other red piece for the upper arm, that gold piece was sticking out a little bit, and I'm pretty sure it needed to be flush to sit in well with the parts, and that was a hassle. I had to take the pieces apart to back and forth. It took a while, so it was a little bit of a headache. Another downside is, and I mentioned this in many of my previous videos, but whenever you cut the pieces out of the runners, of course, there are those nub marks, and there are different ways to cover them up. You can smoothen them with a very fine file, or even use a very fine grit sandpaper, and just get a buffer so you can buffer that out. Or if you really good with some paint, you just can cover those nub marks so they're not easily shown. But the metallic red parts, I can't really smooth them out properly just because I could damage the piece itself. I would show like a file mark, which I really don't want, because the metallic, I did not metal. I would definitely did not metal. More like a really hard plastic, and I would say if I would just move those num out, you would just see a much uh, bigger mark on those pieces than if I would just smooth them out on plastic pieces. So I would say that's another bad, unfortunately. So with all of that being said, is this a kit worth getting? This is actually one of the few times that I would say it is not. This is my second Morstorm kit, but it definitely is weaker than the Mark 46. And that's mainly due to what I mentioned in just a few seconds ago. The legs are pretty loose. I did not really have fun building this kit because some of those pieces in the talons just were not snapped together properly. I was getting a little bit annoyed. I just did not like it. So this definitely is the weaker one. Of course, there are other Morstorm kits out there, but we shall see. However, if you are a completionist and you want to add this to collection, okay, I did warn you, but I would say you could pass on this kit. I would say definitely this is not a beginner kit, but if you build some kits and you're okay with what I warned you about, then by all means you can pick this up. Thank you all for watching. Even though I had some setbacks with this kit, I'm not gonna lie, I actually did enjoy reviewing about this kit, sharing my thoughts. Hopefully this will help you decide if this is a kit worth getting on your own accord. So as long as I'm helping out, I feel happy about that. But regardless of the good or the bad, this was definitely an experience, so I cannot deny that. So that much I will say I did enjoy. But with all that being said, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more video updates. Definitely more videos to come. There are 2 videos here. If you haven't done so, please see the unboxing and the parts video of the Iron Spider. And there's a video here that YouTube picked out for you. In case you want to follow me on other social media platforms, I do have an Instagram and a Reddit account, links down below. So with all that being said, thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep on building.